I just couldn't even speak to her anymore. It was like, it's just not worth it. Yeah,
Mm,
I'm not going to ever get from her what I need and deserve. So
mm.
therefore, why do I want you in my life?
Welcome to the Bad Mothers Podcast. I'm Monica Cardenas. Just a quick reminder to read Daddy Issues by Catherine Angel and then join me on Substack Live with Tam Stevens to discuss it on April 28th. You can find more information on my Substack. This season, we're taking a closer look at sibling estrangement, how it happens, what it feels like, and how to move forward. When I put out a call for those willing to talk about their experiences, I received several generous replies from people who genuinely wanted to help others by sharing their stories. This week we hear from Sharon. I want you to know that we discuss sexual, physical, and emotional abuse, so please listen with care. Do you
Yeah,
want to tell us a little about your experience?
my experience for me, my mother, yeah, is I mean, she's in a old folks home now, and I think has dementia. I haven't spoken to her for at least 5 years. I don't even know if she remembers she has a daughter named Sharon. To
Mm,
tell you the truth. Um, but for me, my older brother is really a lot of the cause of all of this.
mm,
He was um, he is my monster.
mm.
Um, if you know what I mean.
Well, can
um,
you maybe first tell me how many siblings you have and where are you in the birth order?
I'm right in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and I have four siblings: an older brother, older sister, a younger brother, younger sister,
Okay,
and
okay.
I'm right in the middle. So I was neglected as a child, very much so. My mother didn't have time for me, so I was pushed aside, which very much made me grow up feeling useless and nobody cared. So I gave up on myself at a very young age.
Mm,
And then at a very young age, too, something horrible happened, which I buried very deep and did not tell my parents and my brother until I was in my 40s. And I'm now 61.
mm-hmm.
And when I told them all, my mother said nothing. My father said, "Why didn't you tell me when it happened?" Which I'm glad I didn't. And
Mm.
I said I couldn't. And he said, "Well, then shut up and never tell anyone else." Which
Do you feel comfortable telling
I
us
was
what?
I was molested by my brother at
Okay.
about, I think I was 11, and he would have been 15, 16 years old. Um, and yeah, I buried it very deep for a long time and didn't remember, which is good. I'm
Mm,
glad that happened, because how I lived with him for all
mm,
those years, I don't know.
mm.
But then when the memory came back, once it came back, then you can't forget. And then
And how? I'm sorry.
he bullied me my whole entire life. And in our adult years, it
Mm,
got even worse, like a lot worse. And I knew once the memory came back, I knew eventually I'm going to say something. It's going to come out.
mm.
And it did. And when it did, it was, I'm glad it did, but it was, and he even said to me when I confronted him, he said he didn't remember. And then he looked at me and said, "I forgive you, Sharon," which, "I forgive you." Yeah. So
Wow.
to me, that means you're lying. I know you're lying. So therefore, I'll forgive you.
So, at what point did you recover this memory?
I was married. I had young children. So I would have been in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And it still took me another 20 years almost to say something.
Did you tell your brother and your parents at the same time or
Yeah.
around the same time?
At
Okay.
the same day, we were all together. And I had told my youngest sister before that, because she was the only person I'd ever told. And I said, "I'm just telling you because I need someone to know, because this is going
Mm,
to come out.
mm-hmm.
He's going to push me to the point where I'm going to blurt it out of anger." and I just need someone to already know. And
Mhm.
so she was there that day too. Um, but now since then, she has turned on me as well, and
Was she
it's
supportive at first when you talked to her?
yes,
Mhm.
very supportive. And she said to me, how can you face him?" And I said, "Well, what choice do I have? He's my
Mhm.
brother." I'm still at that point in my life. I didn't even think of no contact. That was not being spoke about yet at that point.
Mhm.
I had no one to talk to. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry, did you say you're in your 60s?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that would have been like 40 years ago that you
yeah,
had this memory and right, okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
can imagine it wasn't
It
something
was
anybody spoke
very
about, right?
no, no. If you would have, it would
Mhm.
have been like what my father said: just shut up. You don't talk about it.
Mhm.
Shut up. Sweep it under the rug, because the family image is more
Mhm.
important than how I'm feel. Like never, and it's been 20 years now. My father died last summer, and never once has either of my parents or anyone ever reached out to me to talk to me. Like never once
Mhm.
did anyone say, all I needed, I wasn't looking for them to punish him. I wasn't looking, I was just looking for them to say, we're so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But instead to be told to shut up, that made me just want to tell everyone,
Mhm.
everyone, uh, because
So
I know
how did you respond in at that time after you
uh,
told them how did your relationship with them change?
my parents, that's what the day they died to me,
Okay.
because I went home that day just feeling utterly hurt for the last time. I couldn't
Mhm.
believe that it was more important to protect him than to protect me. And so, yeah, that day they died to me. And I stopped going to family dinners at that point, even though I was told to come. I just said, no, I will not be coming. Um, but I still spoke to my mother on the phone. Uh, and it was always just about nothing. And it just finally got to the point about 5, 6 years ago. I just couldn't even speak to her anymore. It was like it's just not worth it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna ever get from her what I need and deserve. So
Mhm.
therefore, why do I want you in my life? And when my dad died, I felt nothing. I did
Mhm.
not attend his funeral because I can't be around my siblings, because they all gang up on me. I always feel very ganged up on by them. Not
Mhm.
that they do anything. They're very sly, very how they do it. Like they just act like they all love each other and they all get along, and I'm the outsider. My brother has told me many times that I'm the trouble. I'm the person who causes all the trouble. He doesn't use the word scapegoat because he's too stupid to know what that is. But if I speak about him, I'm going to speak with much hatred. I'm sorry. Um, but I've been the scapegoat for a long time because
Mhm.
I speak up. I now have found my voice, and
Yeah.
hallelujah, you're not going to shut me down. And I will, if I have an opinion, I'm going to share it. And I think I have a right to have an opinion, no matter what
Mhm.
subject we're talking about. But they will shut me down. I had to run it in with my older sister just past September. I hadn't seen her in person for, gosh, I don't know how many years, but I
Mhm.
ran into her and we were just having a general discussion. And when I tried to kind of voice my opinion, I was shut right down.
Mhm.
And then I said to my sister, I said, just because we don't agree on something doesn't mean we can't have a conversation. And I said it just like this. She
Mhm.
looked at me and went, Sharon, shut up.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So I looked at her and said very calmly, go to you know where. And then she walking away. See, this is why we can't have you around. And I said, no, no, I walked away from you guys, not the other way
Yeah.
around. And
Can you
so
tell
I,
me how what happened after you told your parents and your brother about the abuse, how did things then fall apart with your siblings? Was it that they
I not
chose
I
sides or
they we never spoke about it. No one
Mm,
ever reached out to me. Not It was only my brother and my younger sister that were there that day, but I did reach out to my younger brother, who I used to think I kind of had a kind of somewhat of a relationship with, and told him all about it, all about that day, and he said nothing, absolutely nothing. And
mm,
my older sister, when I did try to talk to her about it, she shut me down and said, Sharon, I get along with him. I don't want to hear anything bad about him. And so, you know, and I hadn't started the conversation with, I'm going to tell you something horrible. We were just talking, and maybe I did say at that point, well, I have something to share with you that happened to me. And that's when she shut me down and said, I don't
mm,
want to hear anything bad about him because I get along great with him. I don't want to hear anything bad. So she never heard it from me, but I'm sure my brother
mm,
probably went to her and told her that I'm accusing him of this and it never happened.
mm,
I don't
mm.
know. But as far as my siblings, no one reached out to me to see how I was doing. Nobody. I'm just supposed to just show up at these family dinners, sit there and keep my mouth shut,
Yeah,
and that's what they expect me to
yeah.
do, and I can't do that. And I realized, yeah, how much this was affecting me. I have two children that are grown now. I have two beautiful grandchildren, another one on the way. They are my focus. They
Mm,
My daughter especially is right behind me because she saw a lot of the abuse I went through. Yeah, no,
Can
it's
you I'm so happy to hear that you have your family that you've
yeah.
made. Can you tell me what it was like when you were a child, what your relationship with your siblings and your parents was like then, and was it always, do you remember always being the scapegoat, or is that something that
N-
developed over time?
Yeah, no, I don't think I was I mean, I wouldn't have known if I was the scapegoat even
Mm,
as a child. I was just very much like my brother bullied me my whole entire life. He
mm,
teased me to the point where I would be crying. He would do it right in front of my mother and she'd say nothing. Um, and he just bullied me my whole life. My older sister, I barely even remember her being at home because she's 9 years older than me.
mm,
Um, so we were never close. My younger brother and I, he's 5 years younger than me, and we got along as children. We got along quite well. And I was 17 when I met my now husband. And once I started dating him, I lived more at his house than I did at
mm,
my own house because his mother was she just accepted me into that home,
mm,
and I felt comfortable there. And so I was over at his house more than I really was at my own home. So really from the age of 17, thank God I got away from my mother
mm,
and my family as much as I could, but they were very much still in my life. Yeah, so my childhood, I just felt very neglected. I remember in grade 8, I brought home my report card and I had almost straight A's. And my mother looked at it for like 2 seconds and threw it back at me. And I felt like
mm.
nobody cares. Nobody cares. Why am I even trying?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. And that was when I really kind of gave up on myself and said, why bother? Nobody cares. So I
Mm,
went into high school with a very low self esteem, very, very, very low self esteem. And I got through high school, and then I got married when I was 22, thank goodness, and had children
mm,
5 years later. My father was also physically abusive and emotionally abusive. He had
mm,
a raging temper, and you never knew when he was going to lose it and when he lost it. If you happened to be the one, you would get physically beaten, which I did once. I think all of us did at least once. Um, there was never any. any apologizing for any of that. He would
Mm.
calm down and then he'd act like nothing ever happened.
Mm.
Um,
And did your mother never intervened, I assume?
I really don't blame her because she couldn't. My dad, he did never hit my mother, that as far as I know, but he was very emotionally abusive to her. She
Mm.
was a beaten wife,
Mm.
emotional, the way he talked down to her. And it wasn't until, I mean, I can remember at the age of 8 or 9 years old, realizing my mother is afraid of my father.
Mm.
And that was, at that young of an age, pretty sure that was the day I totally looked at my dad in a whole different way
Mm.
and stopped even trying chasing after his love,
Mm.
where I still chased after my mother's love for most of my life.
Mm.
And I now no longer am
Mm.
chasing after that love. I now know she cannot, she's incapable. And
You gave the example of the report card. Was she like that with all your siblings, or did you feel singled out in that way?
I don't know. I honestly,
Mm.
uh, I was definitely singled out a lot as far as the neglect. Like my other siblings got a lot more attention,
Mm.
definitely in other ways. As far as school, yeah, she didn't give a shit how any of us did in school.
Mm.
That didn't matter. Just get through school and get your, because we were girls, and so growing up in that day and age with a misogynistic father, we were just expected to get married and have kids. Like we never got to go
Mm.
to college, even though my older sister and I fought our dad and said, you got to send our youngest sister to college. She needs to go. So he paid for it. She went and then she partied away and didn't even graduate, which
Mm.
made me so angry because it's like, I fought for you so you
Yeah.
could go to college and you blew it. I didn't get that. I would like to
Yeah.
go to college too, but I was
Mm.
afraid to ask because I knew he'd say,
Yeah.
no, you're just going to get married and have kids. I definitely felt like that middle child syndrome where,
Hmm.
yeah, I was just the forgotten child. And then when I graduated high school and I was still living at home, my mother did not want me there.
It sounds like your mother had you quite spaced out, many years
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there was a lot of years
Mm.
that she
Yeah.
was 19 when she got married, and then she would have been I don't know how old she was when my youngest sister was born, but yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But that, we were farmers. They were very, I say religious with quotations. They went to church every single Sunday, and we were uh, Mennonite of faith, not
Mm.
old order Mennonite or anything, but um, they went to church every single Sunday for all the good that it did my dad, because he would sit
Mm.
in church, and if one of his children wasn't acting exactly right, his temper would just rage and rage and rage until he'd come home and then beat the crap out of that child.
Mm.
So okay, Dad, you weren't there worshiping God, were you? There's just
Yeah.
so much, and I'm the only one of my siblings that is willing to say it was not good.
Yeah.
What happened in our family was not good. The rest of them, especially my oldest brother, will say to me, oh, all families have problems.
Hmm.
And he even said to me once, we were all raised in the same home, Sharon, meaning we have no problem. So why do you?
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
But just because we were raised by the same parents doesn't mean we had the same experiences.
Yeah.
But I cannot explain that to, he will not listen. He will not.
And
Not
it
to.
sounds similar, I think, to others' experiences in that the sibling who's willing to say what's wrong
Mm-hmm.
is often the one who's shut out because it
Yeah,
disrupts the family's narrative. Um,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, that's what it was. We need to paint the picture that our family is all loving and great and wonderful,
Mm.
and you're now disrupting that. So now you are the problem. So you got to go. You
Yeah.
got to go. And So, okay, if I gotta go, I gotta go. But good riddance, because believe me, my life is much better without them. They
Right.
are, oh my God.
It sounds as though you haven't had to do the whole like conversation about how I'm not going to speak to you anymore. You haven't
oh, I
had
could,
to explicitly say you just stopped calling, right?
I
Is
don't
that?
think I could have that as much as I would love to.
Mm,
I did try with some of my siblings, like not all of them at once, because again, they would all just gang up, but one at a time. Have tried to explain my side,
mm-hmm,
and I get nothing in return.
mm-hmm,
My younger brother did kind of say, "Well, you do what you need to do, Sharon," which I'm not sure exactly how to take that.
mm-hmm,
He's not arguing with me. He's not telling me that I'm bad, but he's just saying, "You just do what you need to do."
mm-hmm. So you've
Um,
just sort of contact sort of fell away. You didn't like draw a
yeah,
line in the sand.
not
Right.
really. No, the only one I had to really draw a line was with my youngest sister, because for many years we did have a relationship.
Mm,
And then as the years went on, it started to become very toxic.
mm,
And we would stop talking for periods of time, but then she would always be the one to reach out to me. I would let her back in. We would get along fine for a while. And then all of a sudden she'd turn on me again.
mm,
And the last time, and when she turned on me, it was vicious and it was hard. And so the last time she turned on me was when I said to her, "You don't get to talk to me that way. You are toxic to me. You cannot be in my life." And her response was, I'm toxic. Look in the mirror." And that's when well, I blocked her on social
mm,
media, blocked her on everything.
mm,
Um, because I knew I needed to block her. Where the rest of them, yeah, I don't need to do anything. They've never really, in my whole adult life, ever really even tried to be in my life
mm.
much at all. So yeah, it was just, it was really nothing. So then to hear my oldest sister saying to me, "This is why we can't have you around,"
Yeah.
really kind of stung, because it's like, no, lady,
Yeah.
you've never even tried to be in my life. So
Right.
I know where that's coming from. That's coming from her talking to other siblings. And
Mm. Well, I wanted to ask about your experience with motherhood because this podcast originally was about how our choices around motherhood might be affected by estrangement from mothers or like our experience with a neglectful or abusive mother. And I
I
spoke to lots of people who have either been decided not to have children because of those experiences, or they have children and they want, to do better, obviously.
I always
Please.
wanted children. I knew
Hmm.
that. And I'm
Hmm.
so glad I had children. But I made the conscious decision when my children were very, very young that I was going to be the opposite of my parents. And that
Hmm.
was a conscious, out loud decision that
Hmm.
I made to myself. I will do everything the opposite of what they did. Now, unfortunately, I was still enmeshed in their lives while my kids were children, and so it did affect things. Unfortunately, I wish I would have walked away 20, 30 years ago. I've been married for
Hmm.
38 years. I wish I would have walked away so many years ago. But
Hmm.
the world was different back then. You didn't
Hmm.
talk about your mental health. You didn't talk. It was your physical health was what was
Hmm.
important back then. Um, so I had no one to talk to. I didn't know that I could do this, because you're told it's
Hmm.
your family. And so, yes, I made the conscious decision to do things very polar opposite of my parents, especially my father. I will not be a physically abusive person like he was. And I could have been, but I
Hmm.
didn't. I controlled that part of me. So that's why it was so hard for me to forgive my father for that, because it's like I controlled my temper. I
Hmm.
got that from you, unfortunately.
Oh, so you're
I
saying you feel as though you like inherited that same kind
Yeah,
of.
Because there
Okay.
was one day when my daughter was very young when I could have hit her,
Mhm.
and it scared the hell out of me.
Mhm.
I walked away, and it scared the hell out of me because I thought, oh my God, I'm turning into my father.
Mhm.
And so I made a promise to myself, I will never get that angry again. And I never did. I never, and
Mhm.
she pushed my buttons a lot. My daughter did. I love her to death, but she did push my buttons a lot. But I controlled my temper. So why couldn't my dad? My dad didn't
Right.
even try. So I never forgave
Mhm.
him for that ever. Um, but
Mhm.
yeah, so I chose to be very different than my parents, um, as much as I could
Mhm.
in the time of that life. Now I can see things. Once you do walk away from those people, you can really see things a lot more clearly.
Mhm.
And I do see just how bad they were and how toxic and manipulative. And I can see things so much clearer now because I'm
Yeah.
not enmeshed in it anymore. So
Mhm.
now that my children are in their 30s, um, now, I've told my daughter, I'm so sorry. I wasn't
Mhm.
always there for you as a young child when you really needed me. And
And is that because you still had a relationship with your
yeah,
parents and your okay.
yeah, I was still enmeshed. Sorry, I jump all over the place when I
No,
talk.
do you, but when you say you were enmeshed, do you mean that you were still like overly involved then with them
Yeah,
to the point that it was a distraction from your
yes,
kids? Yeah.
yes. They were in my ear all the time, filling me with. My mother used triangulation.
Mm-hmm.
She was the queen of triangulation, and so she was filling my ear with bad shit about usually my oldest sister, so
Mm-hmm.
that would make me mad at her. Then we would fight. My mom would
Mm-hmm.
stand back there like, "Oh, I did nothing."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, yeah, that was so much a part of my life
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't give my children the attention
Mm-hmm.
they needed. And so for that, I'm very sorry for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told my daughter that, and she's like, "No, Mom, I don't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew, I saw a lot of what was going on.
Yeah.
I was more aware of it than you realize."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yeah. So it's never too late, like my mother could have came to me at some point and said, "Sharon, I'm so sorry, and I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a good mother to you." I once
Mm-hmm.
said to her, "Mom, I was never sure if you even loved me as a child."
Mm-hmm.
And her response was, "Oh, you were one of those kids that needed extra love."
Wow.
And it's like, "No, I didn't need extra
Wow.
love, Mom. I just
Yeah.
needed some love." Yeah. Yeah. Like
It's
I've never heard the words "I love you, Sharon"
mm,
ever in my life from either one of my parents, ever. And that's
yeah. Awful. Awful.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so, there's so much now in the media about estrangement. And I think a lot of times we hear accusations or insinuations that the adult children who are going no contact with their parents are like doing it on a whim or
Yeah.
in like a vengeful way.
It's a fad right now. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, what your story says to me is it's just another example of how not to respond when your child tells you that something is hurting them, right?
Yeah.
I think we just want to be heard and acknowledged.
That's what I've been wanting for so many years.
Mm,
Need, I might start crying. I just need to be heard. And when
mm,
your own family, your own parents tell you to shut up, you
yeah,
know, you just want to, yeah, yeah.
I'm
And
sorry that
I'll,
happened.
I'll never be heard. I know that. I'll never be heard. And so I got to the point of enough is enough. I can't do this anymore.
Hmm.
This is slowly killing me. Slowly killing me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had to walk away because, yeah, yeah, it was not. And I think when I made that decision, it wasn't because I was reading about it online or I was reading, because now I've read books and I've done all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of research. At that point, it was my own decision. It was
Mm-hmm.
not something that I was reading about. It was just like, I can't. I just woke up one day. It was like the light went
Mm-hmm.
on and I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
They are they are killing me. So,
Yeah, you ask for it's asking for so little, but I think just the fact that it's not asking for very much is what makes it so hurtful that it's
yeah.
not delivered, right?
Yeah, I'm not asking for the world. I'm not
Right.
asking for you can't change anything. I'm just asking
Mm-hmm.
you to look at me and say, "Yes, we love you," and to mean it,
Mm-hmm.
and to yeah, and just to
Yeah.
hear me out, let me speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, to get total shutdown, like my mother said absolutely nothing. And when I looked at her, it was like looking the devil in the eyes. Like her
Mm-hmm.
eyes were cloudy, and it was like, you're not even in there right now. I'm never going to get anything from them. And
Mm-hmm.
so why would I want you in my life? Why would I
Right.
want you in my life?
I wonder, from everything that you've said since the beginning of this discussion, it sounds as though even if the sexual abuse never happened, even if that wasn't part of the story, it sounds like
It would
the
still be
ending would
bad.
still be the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
still bad. It's still bad.
That's just another layer in there. It's a bad layer.
That's the thing, I guess,
It's
that sort of propelled you to walk away was their
I think
response to
so.
it.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think had that not been in there, I probably maybe would have just went, oh well, whatever.
Mm.
But because the other, yeah,
It's such a glaring harm that
yeah,
you suffered for them to be dismissive of that. I
yeah,
think that's really hard to overlook. Whereas the other abuse you suffered, you might be able to say, oh, well, that's how things were. And I mean,
yeah.
not that it's excusable, but
No, 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 exactly. I
mm,
might have been able to just, that's just the way mom is. That's just, yeah. And I I guess saying that, that's maybe why my siblings can say that,
mm,
because they didn't go through what I went through. Uh,
mm,
so for them, they're willing to say, oh well, mom isn't that bad.
mm,
But
right.
yeah, to me, she was that bad.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was
Mm,
definitely the molestation issue that gave me the strength to walk away.
right. You said earlier about how, the most hurtful part is you just want to be heard.
Yeah.
And I hear you, and our
Thank you.
listeners hear you, and I'm sure support you. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. I'm sure it will be helpful to others who've had the same kind of experience.
Yeah, it's and what was going on in the world right now.
Mm,
Women need to be heard. Women
yeah.
need to be heard because no one would make this up. No one would make up such a horrendous lie.
Mm,
I felt like my family feels I'm making it up, and that makes me sick to my stomach.
yeah.
Because what kind of a monster would I be
Mm,
to make up such a horrendous lie? And
mm,
yeah, yeah. So
I'm with you for sure. I mean, the fact that we are as a society are so dismissive of the abuse women suffer is
uh,
disgraceful.
it
Disgraceful.
it's horrible. It is horrible, but thank God. I hope things are getting better.
Mm,
So grateful we're living in a world now where you can talk about your mental health,
mm,
and there's places. I'm on all kinds of Facebook groups
mm-hmm,
for for these different issues, and I find that very helpful. I've read
Hmm.
all kinds of books.
It sounds like you've done a lot of work on your own
I have.
to, yeah, yeah.
I have. And I'm very, my mother in law, who passed about 15 years ago, she was a wonderful woman. She was more of a
Mm,
mother than my mother ever was.
mm,
And I told her everything.
yeah.
And on her deathbed, she said to me, Sharon, I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
I'm so,
wow.
I'm so proud of you because you could have turned to drugs, you could have turned to alcohol, you could have killed yourself, but you didn't. I'm
Mm,
so proud of you. And why couldn't my own mother say that to me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had an answer for you,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
glad you had your mother-in-law.
Yeah. She was wonderful.
Mm,
And yeah, and I have a best friend who I talk to all the time, and she
mm,
listens to me. I have had to end friendships. I had to end a lifelong friendship just not too long ago because she was very judgmental
mm,
towards me whenever I would speak about my family. And so I just had to say, sorry, I can't have you in my life. I can't have anyone in my life
mm.
who makes me feel bad for walking away from my family.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who yeah, is dismissive of your experience, I think I mean, I'm thinking about in the past I've had relationships that over time I come to realize feel a lot like being with my mom. and
Yeah.
and then it
Yeah.
occurs to me, well, I don't have a relationship with my mom, so my own
Why
mother,
would
so
I?
why would I with someone else?
Yeah, that's exactly what that friendship started to feel like.
Mm,
My siblings and it's like, whoa, this is way, this is exactly the kind of thing they would say to me. So
mm-hmm.
no, I'm not going to put up with it from you.
Right, right.
Yeah. Ah, no, I'm glad there's podcasts that people can
Mm,
turn to, and there's just so much help out there because
mm,
I remember one of my therapists asking me as a child if I had anyone to talk to, and I said no. There was
mm,
no one who I could have went and spoke to. A
mm,
teacher. Back then, I was in public school in the 70s, so if I would have spoke to a teacher about anything, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I don't think anything. And I know as far as the physical abuse from our father, anyone who knew my dad knew he had a very bad temper.
mm, mm,
He knew, everybody knew we were all abused.
mm.
Nobody did anything. Back
Right.
then, back then you just turned a blind eye and you didn't want to.
Mm,
And I get it. It would have been hard. I asked my mother once, as when I was adult, why did you stay with him? And then she got very dismissive and said, oh, he wasn't that bad. He provided well for us financially, which yes, he did.
mm.
We were never hungry. We were always
Yeah,
clothed. Yes, he
but that's
provided
not,
very well, but that's not love.
no.
That's not love. But yes, I also know she couldn't have left him
Mm,
because he controlled all the money. He was very controlling. She would have left with not a dime. And I
mm,
don't know if even her own siblings would have helped her, to tell you
mm.
the truth. So
Yeah.
she was trapped. She was very much trapped. I get that.
Mm,
I get that. But that doesn't give her the excuse to treat me the
yeah.
way she did as an adult.
Right. Right.
I think
Yeah,
she
that's
was very
eh,
jealous of me as an adult
mm,
because I married a man who actually loved me
mm,
and treated me very, very well. And whenever I was happy, it almost made her angry.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's so important. I want to dwell a minute on how, you are willing to forgive her the past. It's more the problem is how she treats you now. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are assume that estranged adult children are holding grudges for what
Oh,
happened in childhood.
oh, I hate that word. My
Mm,
sisters told me, you hold grudges, you hold
mm,
grudges. Well, if I do, it's to protect me. So, yeah, I hate that
mm,
word grudge. But Yeah, no, I can very much forgive her for my childhood because I saw how busy she was and how
Mm,
stressed she was and how emotionally abused she was.
mm,
I think the day that I realized she was afraid of my dad, I think I even tried to protect her as
mm,
much as an 8-year-old child could. I mean,
mm,
and so yeah, I can very much forgive her for that.
mm-hmm. Thank you again for sharing this story. I think it's so important to talk about it when you
Yeah.
feel comfortable to do so, because it is helpful for others who are navigating the same problems. So thank you again.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. No, it feels good. It's very therapeutic to talk
Mm,
about this stuff. Very
yeah.
therapeutic. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you got something out of it then. Appreciate it. Bad Mothers is written, produced, and edited by me, Monica Cardenas. I'd love it if you'd rate and review the show and get in touch with any feedback. You can find me on my Substack, and guess what? It's called Bad Mothers too.